Alright, so guys, a new week means a new video. I'm the MDC and MDCRX, and if you've been following up on my page, you know that this week we're gonna talk about diabetes. So all you need to know about diabetes. So some of you might know this and some of you might not know this, but November is actually Diabetes Awareness Month. So we could not let it end and we not talk about diabetes. So as most of us know, diabetes is a condition where there's excessive amounts of glucose in your bloodstream. And if you didn't know, there's actually two types of diabetes. Diabetes type 1 and type 2. Now type 1 involves the body kind of attacking the pancreas. That's the organ that kind of releases insulin that regulates the blood sugar levels in the body so it doesn't get too high. Kind of has this autoimmune reaction where it destroys the pancreatic cells. Now this one, it's normally developed like you'd have it from childhood most of the times. Now for type 2, what happens is you'll have a relatively okay pancreas, but it just doesn't release enough insulin to combat the high blood sugar levels that's flowing through the bloodstream. Now this one is the one where we can give you like oral medication to take, the different tablets. I won't even try to mention any, but you almost heard of metformin. That's the most popular one. Yeah, so the oral medication, that's what that is for. The type 2 one specifically. When it comes to insulin now, like there's actual insulin that you can inject. You might have heard of that as well. You can use that in type 2 in cases where it's way out of control. But in type 1, you definitely have to use injectable insulin. So some risk factors for diabetes include, number one, probably the biggest one, genetics. So for a lot of people, no matter what they do in a lot of cases, they're just gonna get diabetes. They might be, very healthy or something, but just genetic predisposition unfairly gives them diabetes. Another big risk factor is a sedentary lifestyle. So basically when you just sit down all day and you're not as active as you probably were in high school or something, you probably have a job where you just sit down, you wake up every morning, sit down, lie down, that type of lifestyle. And the third risk factor we're going to look at today is your diet. Now you could technically say the diet would type into the sedentary lifestyle, but I just want to separate it. The diet now is like a diet high in carbs, carbohydrates, or high in sugar, so it adds on to that high blood sugar level. Symptoms of diabetes can include just you being always thirsty. So that's one big thing when you realize you're just thirsty, like you're just always thirsty. That's one big thing that shows that hey, you might have diabetes, you might go get your blood sugar checked. Another big symptom is frequent urination. So sometimes you might realize that you're just urinating a lot, like frequently throughout the day. You're probably waking up during the night, or you probably not even get to wake up, but when you wake up you realize that you wet the bed or stuff like that. And these things do happen, and that's just another symptom showing that you might have diabetes. So if you realize that all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're normally fine with urine, but when it comes to recently you've just been urinating a lot, you might want to get your blood sugar checked. The third symptom I'm going to look at is vision problems. So if you realize you're getting blurry visions along with those other symptoms, you might want to get yourself checked for diabetes. Check your blood sugar, make sure it is safe. So if you just have vision problems and you know that everything is fine, you've been sleeping fine, you've been doing this fine, and now strain eye, this and that, probably get checked for diabetes, especially if you have another symptom. The last symptom I'm going to look at today is numbness of your extremities. That's your fingers, hands, or your feet and toes. So if you're experiencing frequent numbness or pins and needles, if you're not pins and needles, or it's just like that weird sticky feeling. Like imagine if you sleep on your hand too long and you start feeling that weird tingly feeling, that kind of hurt-ish sometimes. If you're having that out of nowhere, then you might want to get checked for diabetes. So why is it important for you to not get diabetes? Now a lot of people hear diabetes. Well, in Jamaica here we call it sugar. Everybody know about sugar. So a lot of people just say, oh, I just have a little sugar, I have a little pressure. We're not talking about pressure right now, but we're talking about the little sugar you have. It's not really a little sugar, because there's a lot of things that it can cause why you would want to stay away from diabetes. So diabetes can actually increase your risk for a stroke. And honestly, not just strokes, so it does increase your likelihood of having other cardiovascular issues or heart issues that would involve maybe a heart attack. Another one includes the risk of amputation. No, the risk of amputation comes with a little backstory into it that has some other causes that are all wrapped up into this one cause. So I'm just gonna go through it real quick. Why it increases your risk of amputation? So remember that symptom of numbness I talked about earlier? What happens with diabetes that's not treated is you have damaged nerves in the ends of your fingers or toes or so on. So what happens with that damaged nerve is you get a tingling feeling and tingling pain sometimes. And also what happens is you lose feeling. Also with diabetes, what it can cause is it can cause you to not have good circulation in your hands and feet and so on. So that also adds on to that tingling feeling. Now what happens when you have loss of feeling and poor blood circulation is you don't feel when something's stickier in your foot, and then the poor blood circulation means that when you don't feel that wound that you have, the wound is not gonna heal now because the poor blood circulation causes the tissue to not be able to fix itself properly. So what you have happening is infection, and then sometime after infection you have something called gangrene, and after this you just have to get your foot chopped off, and then that's what happens. Which is why it doesn't really happen in your hands, is because when you get stuck or something you'll see it, but in the foot you won't feel it or see it, which is why we implore our diabetic patients to examine their feet, wear proper shoes that will prevent things from sticking them, and so on and so forth. So we can also say some other causes are poor blood circulation, poor wound healing, and that's also kind of a symptom, not even kind of, that is also a symptom. All of these things are intertwined. So yeah, definitely look out for all those things. And these are some reasons why you should not put yourself in the position to get diabetes. So the controllable factors like the diet and the sedentary lifestyle, work on those. If you're predisposed to it, definitely try and keep a healthy diet and exercise, and hopefully you should be fine. And definitely get your blood sugar checked regularly. Alright, so that's been my video on all you need to know about diabetes. It's obviously not all you need to know, but like, you know, pretty important factors. Thank you guys so much for watching. By the way, thank you so much for the support you showed me last week. It was such a fun week to share with you guys. I had fun every day of that week, and I really had fun making that video and being on that live with my friends over in America. Thank you guys so much again for the support. Thank you again for watching this video. If you liked it, just like it. If you have any more questions, comment me or DM me. I always try to reach you guys. Share it among your friends as you do each week. I love when you guys do that so much because, you know, you get the healthcare education thing out there. Thank you so much for coming this week, and I really hope to see you guys next week again.